Good evening and welcome to the Cover One Buffalo podcast. You are joining your host, Greg Tompsett, along with my partner in crime, Aaron Quinn. Aaron, how we doing?
I'm doing pretty well, Greg. Get right into it. Tell the fans why we're here so we can get into this.
You are joining us because the Buffalo Bills have defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 39-34 in one of the dumbest football games I've ever seen in my entire life. I will say, we were talking about it in the Discord channel as just an anonymous, distant third party, random football fan. This was probably an awesome game. Like not like 13 seconds back and forth kind of game, like it's not the playoffs, doesn't have that kind of leverage, but like one of the best like entertainment value regular season games of all time. But when your team is one of the two parties, like my cardiovascular health is poor like that. I was fully riding the roller coaster. That one was a rough game to go through, but thank God we came out on the other side victorious.
Yeah, my phone's been constant blowing up, and it's not Bills fans. It's like every other person watching football today. Just and a lot of it, I haven't even read all the messages. A lot of it's just been like, I've never seen anything like that in terms of a swing, right? And you say riding the roller coaster, but I know you want to call me out on calling game, but I wasn't even that much of an emotional roller coaster for the majority of this game. I was just like, felt defeated, and every time they had a chance to kind of claw their way back, it felt like they just would trip up over themselves, sort of like that first drive of the game with Ty Johnson slipping up. It felt like that was like the kind of mode of the day, and then in the last 8 minutes of this game, just total chaos happening. Poor Bengals fans, because I've been on the other side of stuff like this too, and I know producer Colin had said similar to that Ravens game week 1, just like out of nowhere barrage of turnovers and points, and holy cow, man, what an end. This one's gonna be a fun victory Monday though.
Oh man, not the we didn't get hit the depths that the Ravens game was. Like the Ravens game was like you had to be crazy to not think it was over. Here, I give you a hard time online, but like that fumble, we were just desperately needed. Hey, get it to where it's a back and forth game where we're trading leads, stop chasing, and we had the chance to take it there and gave it back. And not only did we give it back, they answered with an 80-yard touchdown drive that put them back up 2 scores. And that felt, it was 8 minutes to go when they did that.
Yeah.
That legitimately felt like a death blow. Like that, you were not alone in saying it was over. I think Rico got a hard time for a tweet as well.
You didn't tweet it, but you absolutely were thinking it. And anyone that's watching this, that says they weren't thinking that is absolute liar. And even statistically, the Bills just overcame it was like 92% win probability after that touchdown, and totally flipped it on its head. Yeah.
2 scores of 7 minutes left. Like that's in 9 out of 10 games, just like the percentage says 9 out of 10 games, that's loss.
You lose it. Yeah.
Chief Orley here, hearts racing, but vibes at an all-time high. Spot on. Mr. Tedama, can Benford play wide receiver? Talk about so AJ Epinesa has done that play a couple times. Greg Rousseau's done it. Normally it's a defensive lineman. It's not super graceful. This was the smoothest and cleanest, it was
like Micah Hyde taking that onside kick.
Yes, the onside kick. It was almost as graceful and clean as that. So obviously most of the time that, and there's other factors here. In the weather, Burrow wasn't trying to laser it to Chase, so he was intentionally trying to kind of lob it there. He obviously didn't see Benford coming, so it was a lighter throw. Benford is a more graceful athlete than any defensive lineman's going to be. But the way that he just cleanly snagged it in stride, didn't lose speed. And don't get me wrong, I know he's an NFL caliber elite athlete, but he's not. As far as cornerbacks go, he's not an elite athlete, like straight line speed. So the fact that he didn't let Jamar Chase catch him, who I think ran 0.2 of a second faster 40 time, and didn't let him catch him, God bless him. And then I saw the adrenaline on the sideline. His eyes were like this big, and I think they were like 90% dilated pupil. So huge play for Benford. And then obviously the back-to-back plays on the very next offensive play for the Bengals. Jordan Phillips tip ball, interception by AJ Epinesa, completely spun it. We'll wait. I'm going to save the talk about the fourth down call. And our whole lives, what that decision has been by, conservative coaches, just go up by 7, and to go for it in that spot and to get rewarded and to ultimately obviously preserve the win. Just a huge moment. That whole spin of that last 7 minutes and the decisions involved, the big plays involved, the fourth down conversions involved, just an enormous swing.
Yeah, I think lost in this obviously was a lot of sloppy play that we'll get to later in the week. But yeah, to be able to just get those turnovers in the key moments of this game, that's sort of been the story of when the Bills have success. Their defense does give up yards. They still give up points, but being able to generate those turnovers is absolutely huge. The Bills have been all year long really beating themselves. Right. Not that other teams aren't taking the ball away, but when the Bills commit more turnovers, they are absolutely losing games. And it felt like this was going that way. You had the couple of fumbles by James Cook that were significantly huge in this game, but the Bills matched those turnovers that they had with even bigger ones. And to be able to get points off turnovers like that and have your defense score after giving up 21 first half points, absolutely huge to stay in this game and do that. And yeah, absolutely going to get into it and giving hats off to Sean McDermott for not taking the conservative approach there, especially at home. I think traditionally it was always like, hey, you get the safe points, you're at home, and then let your defense finish the game. He wanted no part of that. So good for him.
And dude, I mean, that play was from the 3-yard line.
Yeah.
And it was a long 3. I actually thought it was from the 4. So that was not some, it's usually like the 2-yard line is like the slam dunk. Like once you get beyond there, even from a like an analytics standpoint, that was an aggressive play call. That was not a slam dunk, go for it.
Actually, the first one was probably the one that they did take the field goal on the first drive was probably a more go for it than that one was. The second.
Yeah. Yes. From an analytics standpoint, yes, 100%. That was a higher percentage proposed of what they thought they should have done. So, just a wild game. Padden here saying I was fine the entire time we were losing. What the heck? it was a rough one.
Finally, with me saying that the game was over, I did finally get to use a meme that I've always wanted to use. Is the guy that's like, "Oh, call an ambulance," but not for me.
Not for me.
I finally got to use that meme. So I'll take the loss and the win at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. You just got to wait for your moment.
That's it.
B Crumbles here. We appreciate you very, very much. Rick, great point. If anyone can help me get Aaron's tweet onto Freezing Cold Takes, like please help support that.
Screw them. I'm not scared of that. They've gotten me before. I'm not. Here's the thing.
Anything anyone can do. Also, real quick question for producer calendar research and online. Is 39-34 scoregami? Those are uncommon numbers, high numbers. It might not be, but it's 39-34 scoregami. If the chat can find that out, that was a no. It is not. Colin's saying it's not. Darn it. They're not quite like random enough, but that could not have happened multiple or many times in NFL history. 39-34. Those are weird numbers.
Yeah. The missed 2-point conversion sort of throws.
Yeah. Us getting the 2-point conversion and then missing one, correct, all of a sudden just completely throws that into flux in both directions.
Bit.
Yeah. Padden here saying Mahomes, Jackson, Burrow, check. So how crazy is that? We're going to go this season beating Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, losing to Tua Tagovailoa, Michael Penix, and Davis Mills. Just a stupid season.
That's easy to tell you why. It's because wins are not a quarterback stat.
I just put fingers up. Of course they are.
Right.
I just counted them right here.
Yeah. It's but more importantly, and I think for the folks that are concerned about the Bengals, I think this ends their hopes at a playoff run, especially with Steelers winning today.
No.
They're done.
I believe they may not technically be mathematically eliminated today, but
well, then don't call it. Don't call it. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll look. Like, there's a chance,
but it ain't good.
Especially Jacksonville winning, some of those other combinations. Although somebody can tell me if the game is still going. I don't know if Pittsburgh-Baltimore is over.
Oh, here I gotta.
That might still be happening in some sense. But we'll see. We'll see where those things shake out. Obviously, tonight here, before we get into our normal run here, tonight, are you rooting for the math? The math says that we should root for KC to beat Houston. Or are you rooting for every other piece of your soul, heart, and body, in that, of course, we're rooting for the Texans?
I think you know me by now on this stuff. I don't care that much, right? Like, I want Kansas City out because like they're like that Jason Voorhees where like they're not dead until they're dead.
Yep.
And I do think that their playoff experience will cause teams a lot of issues come the playoffs. But that Houston defense is also going to be a real big problem come the playoffs. So whatever one gets through there, Kansas City's got a lot of problems this year. You hope they don't get right at the right time. I don't know. Can they tie? Can we just get a tie?
Honestly, I think a tie probably hurts both of them. I think one of them needs to come out of this with a win.
Yeah,
that's probably not a terrible thing to root for.
Let's get like a 17-17 gross tie.
Yeah, terrible game. Terrible game. I will fully be rooting for the Texans because I want to see them all the way 100% fully dead.
Looks like Pittsburgh is up 27-22, 3-1, and Lamar got sacked.
It was incomplete pass. They're going to have one more pitchy woo play or a Hail Mary.
Like a sack to me,
Oh, they called it out. Oh, okay, yeah, game over. So that's great. So now Baltimore, again, they're not officially dead, but that is a huge strike against them. So this is great. Today's a great day. Everything is great.
Everything's great. Yeah. No, this is fun. It's Christmas miracle. It's Christmas miracle, man.
Oh. All right, Theantopoulos here. I tweeted Aaron, but my day got ruined because I was mandated. I don't know what mandated means, but this win makes it much better. Still love you guys, love the Bills, and a great called game for the Bills coaches. Yeah, I even said it in the Discord channel, like, if this was like, hey, we're just going to wait till the second half until we start blitzing as the plan, like, I guess I'll technically understand it, but it's going to annoy me. We didn't send anything in the first half. They marched down the field, and then in the second half we started sending blitzes and pressure, and of course they're going to beat that sometimes because Joe Burrow's a great quarterback, and of course he's going to beat some blitzes, but we also got some stops from it and some negative plays that got them into longer spots and some pressured off target throws on third down, which are the same as a sack because it's an incomplete on third down. So I was a little confused at how it kind of came to that, but ultimately we did give up the scramble points at the end there, so we gave up 13 in the second half, but for quite a while there we held them scoreless in the second half. So I'd like to see a little bit more of that, and the offensive game plan felt an awful lot like, hey Josh, help us out here.
To me, that's a sort of a normal progression, right? Like, you come out with a game plan and you adjust. That's something actually I don't think the Bills coaching staff doesn't often get enough credit for, is making those adjustments. And you had a team that started to get desperate, right? It's easier to play aggressive when you're down 2 scores and the clock is ticking and you are getting aggressive. When you get into that second half and you need some stops, you're not getting you're taking long drives and not getting points out of them offensively, you got to get more aggressive. I won't be shocked if we go find out that Sean McDermott once again took over play calling a little bit in that second half. He is a much more aggressive coach. Whether or not he took it over or not, there's a heavy influence of his hand when they start to get more aggressive like that. But you did see it on one of those drives in the second half where they went like 4 plays, 80 yards to score really quickly. They were super aggressive on that drive. And because of that, you had mishaps on the back end and easy points there too. So it's a double-edged sword. I want to see him play aggressive in those moments. I do like that. You have to, especially when you're, out a Joey Bosa, you're out your best pass rushers. Ed Oliver is not there. They just are not able to generate it. It's almost like last week when you were out with without your 2 tackles, you sort of really had to change how you want to play, right? They don't want to run James Cook as much as they did last week, but they knew they couldn't put the ball in Josh Allen's hands with TJ Watt and stuff like that. And in a game like this I sort of agree with you. When you know you don't have your best pass rushers and you know you're not going to be able to get to him, even though you're probably not going to hit Burrow a ton, but just generating those pressures, you'd like to see him kind of design those up a little bit more. But the beginning of this game too, Greg, we'll go through the drive by drive, but it felt a little wonky still. Like they were down by quite a bit, but you had a couple of drives where you thought you could, get something going. You didn't quite get something going. You had a almost interception by Taron Johnson. You had the slip up by Ty Johnson that took 4 points off the board there early. You could have matched that opening touchdown by them. He for sure, nobody can convince me that he wasn't going to score on that play if he didn't slip. And it felt like it was just like four or five weird moments in the game in that first half that it shouldn't have been as big of a hole as it looked. And so I felt like the Bills actually, offensively had a good plan. That first drive, they moved the ball really well. It was just they slipped up and then they kind of stagnated. There was a couple other times where it was just a missed pass by Josh Allen. There was a couple early where it was like a swing pass he missed way off, and then there was another like out in the flat and he missed it a little bit. So there's just a couple of plays like that in that first half where it's just sloppy enough. And you couldn't do that if Joe Burrow was playing the way he did in the first half of this game. One quick thing I want to ask you about, was it weird for you as it was for me watching T. Higgins continue to go back into that game? It felt gross to me. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical person, but he would hit the ground, like touch his head and like come up kind of wobbly and then be back like 3 plays later.
So I'll give the caveat of like, hey, every time it kind of looks like a concussion, it doesn't automatically mean it is a concussion. Of course, we're not doctors. We don't know those things. There are scenarios where it looks like a violent head hit and is not a concussion. That happens pretty regularly, actually, that it just isn't always that clean or simple. That aside, a player who just got released back from a concussion has an issue early in the game where the back of his head hits pretty hard. They go through the testing, and then it happens 2 more times. Like I
felt bad watching it.
Those micro collisions, as they call them, repeated immediately after the diagnosed concussion, are the highest risk elements in football. Like that is the highest risk moment, is that window afterwards, and that you get multiple subconcussive hits after the bigger concussion. And a layperson like me, it certainly looked like not even a subconcussive hit, like another full concussive hit. That is, I don't know, man. Like that's just not cool.
As a football fan outside of this game, I don't like seeing it.
Like I'm going to trust that they have his best interests in heart, and did the right thing and cleared him, and he fully passed the test, and it wasn't what it looked like, because it looked like a guy playing through a concussion getting hit in the head 4 more times.
Oh man, yeah. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but it's one of the few things of football that's like, man, I just hate seeing that, and like that. Yeah, I don't know how you stop it, but yeah, that was a weird part of this game.
Yeah. Just odd. So B Crumble's coming back again. The final tour of the Ralph remains amazing.
I thought the broadcasters talking about the 12-0 at home in December. They kept doing it. I was like, guys, can you stop saying that? Luckily, it didn't matter, but that the jinx from the broadcasters almost got us.
I also found Greg Moyer's burner account. Greg Moyer is Theontopus. So happy to finally beat Burrow. Josh Allen is this team, and I really don't know where we would be without our future Hall of Famer. Keep up the great work. Well, one, yes, like this team is. I don't want to like put down the other. There are other professional guys on the team. There are other good players. I think this is the least talented team around Josh Allen in the last 5 years that we've been doing this, since the 2020 kind of breakout season. And he's been ridiculous, and sometimes feeling like he needs to do too much and doing too much, because that's going to happen when you feel like you have to do everything. For everyone, when you hear us joke about you, obviously Greg Moyer is awesome creator and business person in the Buffalo area, lead Left Turn, the company there, and multiple other ventures that are great. He also lives in a constant fear bunker of Joe Burrow. So our group chat will be thankfully much less stressful now that we've broken.
And Mike Tomlin's keeping his job.
The curse.
So.
And, that's just good for content. That's just good for content. This is great.
For those that don't know, he's also Mike Tomlin, big time Mike Tomlin hater. But in terms of this content, this comment here, one, I still don't know a mandated tweet. I hope I didn't do anything on Twitter to that tweet or whatever, so I don't know what that was. But to this comment about the Hall of Famer and Josh Allen, I don't know where we'd be. That's true though of all these teams, right? Like the Bengals are showing that this year in what happened when Joe Burrow wasn't on their team and what they look like when he is on their team. All these teams that have a top quarterback, regardless of the makeup of the rest of their roster, they aren't where they're going to be without that top quarterback. Like, it's a weird thing to say because wins aren't a QB stat, but you're not going to win a lot of games unless you have a guy that is one of those top guys, because QB touches the ball every single play. Like, they have the opportunity to make so many plays in a game. And so when you have a great one like the Bills have, you can explode and go out on points. But really, like, the defense gave them the opportunities to get back in this one. Josh made the big plays that they needed to make in this one. I think Joe Brady set them up in some really nice ways in this game. Obviously, you were attacking the opponent's weakness. Everybody saw it on tape. Everybody saw it in the stats. Get to your tight ends. Get in the middle of the field. Dawson Knox with an absolute bonkers game for him.
Well, the tight ends as a whole went 11 catches for 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. 11 for 137 and 2 touchdowns. Talk about picking on a weakness.
Every single content creator on earth covering this game was saying, if you're going to attack them, you got to attack with the tight ends in the middle of this defense. Joe Brady saw it, dialed it up, went after him, and it worked. But in terms of also in this offense, James Cook didn't have his best game of the year, but his ability, even on a bad day or a low output day, to keep the chains moving, to keep some of those drives going, is also impressive. It does take a little bit of the pressure off of that team, because you saw, I don't know what the numbers were. It felt like there was a lot more first down play action in this game, which is set up from previous weeks of James Cook just running the ball down teams' throats. You're able to set up, you don't need to run the ball to establish play action. But when you rip off 250 yards the week before and the defense is on their toes trying to play the run, it certainly helps.
Yeah, and I obviously haven't seen the numbers yet either. I know just anecdotally it was for sure more. We'll find out how much more. There was definitely more first down play action. Obviously, literally the first play of the game, and we went back to that same play 2 more times and had a couple others in different scenarios. So there was more first down play action, but we'll see how much more once the data comes out.
Yeah.
The casual Mark here saying that the video and schedule. So like the video and schedule with your cardiologist today. That's great advice. Love the coverage, guys. Appreciate it. Mac here sent us 40,000 Colombian pesos, which is either $10 or $10 million. I'm not sure which, depends on where the decimal goes. And that says, seems like a lot more play action, but should be more play action with rollouts, judging by some of the play action sacks. Yeah, there was a couple that were, like, it's weird some of the times the footing, if the defensive lineman gets decent footing, it's way harder for the offensive line to shuffle their feet the same way you normally do. So some of that you got to take a little bit with a grain of salt, that a few of those are just weird circumstances, the same way that the receivers and corners can't always get good footing. Heck, T. Higgins probably would have scored on that one play if he could have kept his footing when Burrow was trying to get him to go upfield and there's nobody there and he just couldn't get his footing to get a good jump at the ball. It's just the nature of how those things go.
Yeah. It's also kind of funny that I'm sitting here saying, James Cook wasn't that good today on 80 yards. Like, how spoiled are we by James Cook?
111 total yards. 111 yards from scrimmage, 80 yards rushing, 4.5 yards a carry, really good yards per carry.
Fine. Yeah.
2 catches for 31 yards on his only 2 targets. And of course,
good of a season he's had, though. That I'm like,
I will say rightfully should be criticized for his fumbles. Those are not acceptable. Though you got to make better decisions on not reaching. The other one was just like, hey, you got to hold on to the ball. He wasn't reaching.
Play by DJ
they busted it out. It's a great play by the other team. Those are going to happen sometimes. And if that was the only one, I don't think people would be getting as much on his case. But
annoyingly, it's a few in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
too,
I think that's 4 in 3 weeks.
McDermott didn't bench him.
Yeah, hey,
gotta give him some credit there.
Good for him, maturing beyond that. Like, he is our bell cow running back. You don't you
bench that guy.
tell him, hey, don't do it again, and put him back in.
Yep.
So today, Josh Allen, 22 of 28 for 251 and 3 touchdowns. I won't lie. I just looked at those stats for the very first time right now while I read them to you. If I had told you that, hey, what do you think Josh's numbers were for this day? Would you have thought 78% completion percentage, 9 yards per attempt, 3 passing touchdowns, 250 passing, 78 rushing, and a touchdown? I guess I realized it was a good game, but holy crap, that was a way better passing game than I realized it was.
Yeah, the 9 yards is obviously helped out by the explosives, right? There was a few 30+ yard balls in this game, so that definitely helps. I mean, going into the game with the weather, I didn't think it would play out like that, and I do think that they wanted to do what my plan was, which is where we're going to run the ball, we're going to run clock, we're going to keep Joe Burrow off the field, but that got away from you when they went up a few scores. So it turned into a game where you had to put the ball in the air in that second half, especially. They both Burrow and Josh Allen put on a, outside of Joe Burrow's turnovers there, the throws that were made in this game, one, as a NFL fandom, we're in such an age of great quarterback play in general, not just Josh Allen, but what Patrick Mahomes has done over the last handful of years, how Burrow's played, all these guys out here. We're so spoiled. Like, some of these throws that were made were such high level throws by both players in weather. Like, it wasn't crazy snow, but
Burrow was sick today. Like, he was ridiculous today.
Perfect passes into buckets. That touchdown from Josh to Shakir, where he just put it right behind the ear hole of the defender, and just such high level throws. We were really treated to such a fun performance. Like you said at the start, if you weren't a fan of either one of these teams, the quarterback play alone was worth the watch in this game, and it was a special one to watch.
Yeah, just incredible. So okay, Josh, ridiculous. We just talked about James Cook, 111 yards from scrimmage, 80 rushing, 31 receiving. Yeah, again, probably should have had maybe 2 touchdowns, and instead had 0 touchdowns and 2 fumbles. So he's going to hear about that in the film room, and hopefully that's the wake up call, just to be super hyper focused on carrying the ball there. We did end up running for 183 yards rushing, 6.3 yards per carry. Obviously, Josh
78 yards from Josh helped.
Yeah, Josh's 40-yard untouched touchdown jaunt is certainly helpful in that math, but ended up with 416 total yards, 22 first downs, and everything they put together there. The receiving game, obviously, we talked already, by far led. No other player, running back or receiver, had more than 2 catches. Dawson Knox had 6, Dalton Kincaid had 4, Jackson Hawes threw in his touchdown late, so 11 catches for 137 and 2 touchdowns from the tight ends, which means that the rest of the team had 11 for 114 and no touchdowns. So not, we have obviously an active tight end group in the passing game, but not usually more than half the overall production and all the touchdowns. So great game there. We didn't need a lot, but some clutch plays. Obviously, Shakir getting tattooed with that one touchdown pass on 4th down that Josh, I don't even understand how he threaded through there. That, run RPO slant option that Josh put on Keon Coleman, and I really appreciate Coleman. You could tell hyper focused on holding on to the ball. He didn't even, he might have even been able to make a better effort towards the end zone, but he was so focused on holding on to the ball because he knew he had the first down. So those came together really, really well. Josh did get sacked 3 times. The one late he would have thrown away, but he realized that the clock, it was in our favor not to.
You don't do that, yeah.
The other one, the other one I think was kind of on Josh too. I think the offensive line, maybe only one of those sacks was really on him per se.
Yeah.
Or on them.
One of them was he was trying to scramble and got caught.
Well, you've mentioned it a couple times this year where he hasn't quite been able to do that guard B gap burst that he's done for years, and he keeps getting caught on that. Just not seeing the angle well,
and not as explosive. He still has the top end speed you saw on the 40-yard touchdown run. If he has space, he's got the speed, but it feels like the speed from pocket to escaping the pocket, it's a step slow. Or what it probably really is defenses rushing with integrity and being on to like, hey, all week long they're working on Josh Allen likes to do this, and you need to protect that space because it seems like the NFL's onto it a little bit. I do want to pull back to talked about the receivers and especially that Keon touch or that first down from Keon. Still super disappointed in such a big game this late in the season. There was a couple plays where I
that
can't
one route was
totally
infuriating.
tell. Feels like just the effort isn't there.
That
And
one almost
you can't have it,
interception
man.
was on Keon just lackadaisically
Yeah.
like jogging through that route.
You got to come back to the ball on that. There was a couple ones where they like later, there was one where they were yelling about on the broadcast how there was no separation. And you saw just like Keon just like jogging into the end zone.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, you can't separate if you're going to jog. I don't know. Glad he caught the one that he needed to catch. But boy, I am still so frustrated with him as a player.
And I mean, we don't know what those outcomes are going to be when Josh Palmer is back and healthy and what that game day active spot is going to look like now that they've kind of consolidated some of that down to Brandon Cooks. We also haven't seen like a good weather game yet for Brandon Cooks. So
Sure.
I know like he technically didn't show up in the stat, the stats here. Had
a
that
DPI
one,
against them though. That was a helpful one.
The DPI and curious. Obviously, none of the receivers got a ton of runs, so I don't think that's going to be anything too crazy. But we'll see where that goes. No. Do a couple more super chats here before we flip to defense. 78 Maximilian saying Allen and Benford not today to the Burrow ghosts of Christmas past, like that. Kel 4055 here saying Josh is up to 77 rushing touchdowns now. Think he can make it catch career number 2 Tomlinson at 145. No, he's not going to get 145. I do think 100 is in play, and 100 is crazy for a quarterback. Like that might put it where no quarterback ever in NFL history will catch him if he gets 100 rushing, or not until we see some, crazy, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson hybrid someday that can do some crazy things. But Josh legitimately has a real chance at over 100 rushing touchdowns, and that's wild that that's even possible.
Yeah. And what's even crazier is when you think of he's like blown by Thurman Thomas and he's not even 30 yet.
Like Hall of Fame running backs.
Yeah. The gap that he's going to create in rushing touchdowns in all-time Bills history could be like 30 touchdowns. That's insane.
And I mean, prior to Josh, I very often said like Cam Newton was the greatest red zone threat I'd ever seen. I'd never seen a player that could do both things so dangerously, be the fullback, be a scramble player, and throw touchdowns. And Josh is going to blow by him in every record that he set way before, like even at an earlier pace. It's just unbelievable.
I do think after you read this, here, pull that one back up because this is on topic here. It says at this rate, he'll hit 102 more seasons. This rate probably will slow down.
How about beyond this? We want the rate to slow down.
Yeah.
We want it to slow down because we want more than 2 more seasons of Josh.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're starting, I think, to see, even though he's still crazy athletic, some of those pocket escaping things this year. I think we are starting to see the start of him becoming an older player here. And I think over those next 2 seasons,
the next phase. We want the next phase of his career to be 10 years of play that's slightly different. And
we don't want Cam Newton's career where it's super great and then crashes to a halt.
We want the John Elway and Ben Roethlisberger, where again, neither of those guys had super graceful endings. They both had moments where it looked rough, but they both had athletic plays into their mid to late 30s where they still could pick up an annoying first down late. Steve Young had some of that. Obviously, he had a lot of banked time and not a lot of wear off the tires because of his backup status early on. But those are the guys we want. We want Josh to still be able to do those things in his mid 30s.
Aging. Give me Matt Stafford aging.
Sure.
That's what I want.
Yeah, like
He's aging
worries in the preseason about going to weird hyperbaric chambers and then be like, holy crap, I can't believe he's still playing this awesome. Give me that. I'll worry about it the whole time. And then we'll go back the other way.
Yeah.
All right. Back to Matthew's super chat here. Matthew Trizen. I'm going to go with that. Joe Burrow doesn't scare me like his receivers do. Now our defense will look like it has a clutch gene, and that's all Josh needs. First, you should probably be a little scared of Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow's an awesome quarterback. I think that his fans go overboard. I don't think he's achieved as much as they like to talk about, but I also don't pretend that he's not one of those top quarterbacks. And that when you look at like the things that a Jalen Hurts has achieved versus the player that a Joe Burrow is, I'm always going to be more afraid of a Joe Burrow.
Yeah. That's a great reason why wins aren't a QB stat right there.
Yeah,
the comparison
those
of
two players.
players.
Those two players are a great example of it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when you give a player as good as him, freaking Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and like from a receiving tight end standpoint, Mike Gesicki and Andre Yoshibis is a nice player, and like the other, and heck, Chase Brown and Samaje
We're kind of
like
Burton's been playing well. He wasn't out there.
Yeah, he seems like
not a great guy.
I made another mistake. I won't say what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I won't say the words I was going to say.
But they continue to give him tons of weaponry. But with that, like, people want to mock how the Bills have built their team because of what they've done. They've also built themselves a very imperfect roster that allows consistently where he has to, that offense has to put up 30 plus points a game to be competitive in games.
Heck, they finally got him a halfway decent offensive line for the first time this year. And that took them like 5 tries of putting something together.
Yeah.
Theontopoulos back here for a third time. Here's another one. He doesn't give a crap. I'll keep them up all night. Nothing can ruin this day today. Cover one is far superior to enter the Bills content on the web. You're awesome, man. That's really cool. We appreciate you very, very much. FPT Rugby here is saying, my wife does not normally watch the post-game show with me. As soon as Epinesa had the interception, said that Cover One post-game show is going to hit. That's right. Thank you to FPT Rugby's wife. That's
super
fantastic.
Fun. I texted Greg at halftime. I felt terrible last night and this morning, feeling sick, and it's amazing what a Bills victory
the healing
can do for your immune
Josh
system. Because I texted you at halftime and I was like, dude, let's get this done. If this game keeps gaming like this, let's get this done. I don't want to do this tonight. So I'm with your wife on that this hits way better.
Way better. MV Mason here saying, good game. We appreciate you. Anthony Rampello, I felt like in the first half our coverage looked decent, but the Bengals pass catchers were making big catch after big catch. There was definitely a piece of that. There was a couple of those, like that
Gesicki one where Taron Johnson's hanging on the ball
inside his arms. Heck, honestly, the crazy sideline touchdown with T. Higgins and Max Harrison, like Max was pretty good coverage.
Yeah.
Trey had a couple of those with Higgins. I will say, now that I think we're on to the last one here, I'll go. Theontopoulos is crazy person. My job is 24/7. There are sick calls. You get mandated to work the next shift. So my 8-hour day turned into a 16-hour. That's what his mandate was. His mandate was getting called into work. No worries. This makes it better. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for your contributions. You were awesome today. So now flipping to the defense, and specifically talking about big catch after big catch. We probably can't go back and find it, but Jessica Tennis, who is always watching here with us, we appreciate her very, very much, had a comment early on about, is Christian Benford going to have back-to-back AFC Defensive Player of the Week? Because one, awesome blitz for a sack, a game-flipping pick six that was a crazy highlight play that's going to get run forever and ever, and held Jamar Chase to... Jamar Chase ended up with 5 for 44, and
they had to get him start getting like screens and jet sweeps and stuff.
And almost all of those were when they had to put him into the slot to get him away from Christian Benford. Yeah. I don't want to say that he had 0 while Benford was in coverage, but it might have been close. Yeah. Like there might have been 1 catch while Benford was in coverage. So the fact that they had to hide him to get him away from Christian Benford, I think Benford had an awesome coverage game, plus a sack, plus a game-flipping pick six. He genuinely might get back-to-back AFC Defensive Player of the Week. And
he should.
How about this? He deserves back-to-back AFC Defensive Player of the Week. He may not get it.
To be fair, I have not watched any other football besides the Buffalo Bills
game. I had Red Zone on the other screen.
I didn't watch anything other than that game so far, so I can't speak to that. But
someone in Seattle scored a touchdown.
I do think that he has been showing signs that this kind of play has been just coming from him. He has been stacking weeks here the last 3 to 4 weeks, and you're seeing the signs. I think we sort of forgot over the last since last season how elite of a player he can be when he's playing his best. And he took a little bit of time here this year to get into that rhythm. And I think that is an important thing for NFL players. And I think there's some guys on the Bills defense that are still trying to get into that rhythm. But once a player finds it and finds that rhythm and the game slows down for them, if they are an elite player like Benford, you'll see it start to show up. And he's stacking weeks, and it couldn't come at a better time. If he can keep this type of level of play up going forward, then we're back to a situation where it was years ago, where it is frustrating if CB2 is a Trey White who gets beat a couple of times, or, Max, who's still learning the position, and the ball's going to go that way and they're going to give up some catches, but that other half of the field is almost locked down. That's where it was with Trey White early in his career. If the Bills can get back to that, and having a guy like Harrison's speed allows you to maybe lock down one side with Benford and really go hard press on the other side with a safety over the top with a guy like Harrison. So it allows you to do some more things that I don't think over the past few years the Bills have really been able to do in the defensive backfield. So I'm super excited for Benford. I think he's, outside of Josh and a couple other guys, James Cook, he's probably the third, fourth highest end player at his position for the Buffalo Bills, at a great position in the NFL, in a position that matters big time. But yeah, that was a big swing play. I would suspect that he's in the running for the defensive player of the week.
As you said that, it made me think about it. Is he the next best player on the Bills? Is he as good at his position as any other non-Josh Allen is on the Bills? Obviously you talk about James Cook at running back. Yeah. You talk about Dawkins at tackle, although Dawkins, I think, is kind of having a bit of a down year for his standards.
Yeah, but I think league-wide, he's still considered one of those.
He's got, heck, random aside, I've now seen a couple national NFL commercials of Deion's Dreamers run. Mm-hmm. This will be his fourth season as the NFL Man of the Year for the Bills. I'm going to go out on a limb. I think the NFL is setting up for him to be the NFL Man of the Year for this year.
Could be.
Which he would be deserving of. He's been in that kind of...
He's been in the mix for a while.
He's been super in. He's like, it's not performative. Like, he's super genuinely, consistently engaged in the community, does really cool stuff all the time. I would like to see that for him. I think it would be cool. It's just, I've noticed a couple times as I've been traveling around different places and obviously don't live in Buffalo, I've now seen, this has been like the fourth time I've seen the NFL run NFL Man of the Year type things, and that he's in the commercial. And I'm gonna go out.
I hope he does for him.
I think he gets it.
But to answer your question, yeah, Benford's one of, and he doesn't get talked about nationally. Even last year when he was on, when you were making that joke, he was every cornerback chart's a Christian Benford chart. He still doesn't get that love on a national level when you talk about some of the best. There's a lot of top end corners in the NFL right now, but in terms of Bills at their position, when he's playing like this, yes, I think he's probably right there with Josh and James as like one.
That's right. If he had a season of the last couple games, let's say 4 games level, he absolutely would be. Right now, I think he's playing.
He's trending back into that top corner of
that's saying something when James Cook is playing as ridiculously as he is.
Correct.
For the rest of the defense, I saw, again, the two old men on the defense, Jordan Poyer and Shaq Thompson, throwing their bodies around like crazy. Dude, Shaq Thompson makes such a difference in his physicality. It's wild. Like I know, I think Joe Biscaglia and he does his 10 questions after the inactives each week, and somebody asked him about that, and he said that one, it's not a question right now because Bernard isn't healthy. If Bernard gets back, he brought it up that like he thinks they should or will try to figure out a way to get Bernard and Shaq Thompson on the field with Milano as the third linebacker. And
Milano looks pretty good today, though. Too. It's a
great problem to
have. Yeah.
If we genuinely got a healthy Bernard back to make it a question. What we've seen this season from Bernard has not been healthy, so it hasn't been.
It's hard
a question right now. Shaq Thompson is undeniably our best linebacker, which is wild.
Yeah, he's playing really good football.
He's playing at the best linebacker of anybody on the team.
He's playing really good football right now.
Crazy.
And I know we're not supposed to say it, but kudos to Brandon Beane for getting him in free agency and making it so we don't have to pull Balen Spector into that position, making it so you don't have to pull an AJ Klein out of retirement for a spot like this when you do deal with an injury. The narrative around Bernard is such a tough one for me this year because he has been playing injured this whole time. And that you maybe could put on the Buffalo Bills. But Shaq was injured for a stretch of time too, where I think they felt really stressed to not be able to
Hey,
rest.
somebody's got to play.
Like somebody's got to be up for this game. And so I think there was a fine line of managing that injury. It probably hurt the player to play on a high ankle sprain for a while, and now a dislocated elbow. Hopefully the time off from the elbow allows that ankle to properly heal, so he's not playing on it consistently while it's healing. But I don't know that you're going to get a healthy Bernard back at this point in the season. High ankle sprain takes some time to heal. I don't know what the turnaround. I know Kyle's probably talked about it on a dislocated elbow, but he's pretty banged up this year. But you got to feel good that even if your starting linebacker can't go, that you have a guy that if Bernard even does come back, that you have 3 dudes that can really play at this position that you can rotate in and out, whether it's on rundown specifically or on pass down specifically. This is a great problem to have. And then you talked about the other old guy, Jordan Poyer, coming in and steadying the ship of that other safety position. Because again, I think everyone wanted to pile on Rapp, another dude trying to muscle his way through clearly an injury that plagued him early in the year. And I'm not going to say that he's not a good player anymore because he was playing on an injury, but Jordan Poyer has come in and solidified that position. And you've seen coinciding with that an increase in the ability of a Cole Bishop really making that safety position 4 months ago something that we were freaking out like they're not going to be able to survive the season. Now sort of feels like a strength of the defense.
It's crazy to even say that, but yes, it's absolutely wild. Some of the other guys, Deanne Walker had a really nice play early on. I thought TJ Sanders was going to get the flash play you've been calling for on that cover 0 blitz. Like if he, obviously those are tough. Burrow makes a nice little sidestep there, but if he hits him clean there, like untouched, that could be like a really, really big.
That's why he's not really an edge, right? Like he doesn't have that movement, but he had a couple of run stuffs in this game too. They're both, I think, trending the right way.
Yes, they're both trending to be contributing players, which is what we want. Like if they become more than that, that's awesome. We've seen more flashes from Dion, but they're both trending to be impactful, contributing players.
I can't wait till we get a healthy defensive line where we see what the true idea for Ed Oliver, Deion Walker, and TJ Sanders in a rotation. And Daquan Jones, who's actually playing pretty well this year too. I want to see that whole 4 and what the rotation ideally is supposed to be. I don't know if we'll ever get it this year, but I would be excited to see the 4 of them healthy in a rotation.
Well, and even it wasn't across the whole game, but Jordan Phillips gets the big tip ball that goes in there. AJ Epinesa had a knockdown pass and the interception. Just some different pieces here or there. There were some tackling things with Cam Lewis and Jordan Hancock. This is the kind of receiving core that really highlights how small our secondary is. We don't have any big guys in the secondary, so that's kind of a just is what it is. And I will say I don't know where we're at here, but another pretty quiet game from Gregory Rousseau. Like I just rattled off an awful lot of players, and he had the one play where I remember him flashing on cutting off a screen that he was there and in the way, and I think he tipped another ball.
There was a couple pressures.
Yeah, I think he might have been involved in one of those third down throwaways that was not a sack, but caused the a turnover.
Mims isn't a household name yet, but he did a heck of a job. Like there was a couple where it was just like, I know Greg doesn't have all the moves. Greg Rousseau doesn't have all the moves in the world, but there was a couple where he was doing everything he could to get off a block, and it was just stuck. He was just stuck in the mud. I do think Mims is going to be an up and coming player. He's faced a ton of top edge players and done a really good job. I don't know that Groot is as good as some of the guys that he has also shut down. And so that's good for Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. They've been trying to figure out that position for years. And I think they got a guy. I really do. I was really impressed with him. Groot hasn't had the explosion that I expected for him to have. I do think he's having a better year than maybe some of the tweets that have been gone out about him in terms of his dollar value and what we're getting back for that dollar value. I think, he made a number of plays, I think, in the run game, even just keeping contain on stuff. So he's getting there. I think when Joey Bosa's back healthy and Groot, that's still going to be your best defensive end lineup with the guys that we just talked about in the interior also going. So I'm not out on him. Yeah, he's not having the explosion of a year that I expected him to have, but I think today's view of him is a little bit shaded. Mims had a really good game, and he's been trending really well this year.
I'll also be curious. I didn't recognize Morgan Fox. I was kind of watching a couple times, so I don't know if
I saw
he
him a
was
couple
just
times.
kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know if he just was like kind of filled in as the ninth defensive lineman as needed, or what the exact
I don't
usage
know what
was, but it
the
didn't seem to be a ton.
I didn't see the I don't know what the snap count ended up being. He looks slow. Like he is that weird position. We kind of talked about it when they signed him. Like, is he gonna be an edge or will they kick him in? He looks like a guy that belongs kicked in terms of his get
Yeah,
off. Maybe some of that was the snow. Maybe some of that's just him finding himself in this defense. I don't know. Hopefully, we won't have to see him active a whole lot longer. They get healthy and don't
yeah.
have to worry
The
about
other
this.
guy's back. Let him just
Yeah,
be the insurance policy.
correct.
So for special teams, this was Mitch Wisnowski's best game of the season. It was
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
0 punts, my favorite stat for any
love it.
punter. Zero punts and 5 for 5 on the kicks he held. So
Yep.
it was a great game by Mitch Wisnowski. Matt Prater, I can't prove this, but anecdotally, the way I feel, he made his kicks by the least amount of cushion any 5 for 5 kicking day I've ever seen.
They just got to go in. They
Like,
just got to go in.
there were so many where I was like, wait, is it good? Did he make it? On like 4 of his 5 kicks.
Yeah.
It was super close. And this is windy, crappy weather. Like whatever. He found a way to make the kicks. It is what it is. None of these were easy kicks to make. So I'm totally good with it. Our return game was fine. We didn't give up any big returns. This was a fine.
You didn't make any mistakes.
Special teams game. There were no issues. Did we not have a special teams penalty today?
I don't recall one.
Did we maybe not have a special teams penalty today? I can't remember the last time that happened. We did have 6 penalties on the day, but whatever. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
All right, let's flip over to the drive by drive. Obviously, people are probably gonna have to wait a minute for our West Herr drive of the game. Because there was, a slow start, just like last week. Maybe not quite as painful as last week. But it started out.
That first drive was shaping up to be a West Herr drive of the game.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of thought it was going to be. So the Bengals, I think, was pretty gutsy, won the toss and took the ball. And this was like, hey, we know we're going to have to win this game with our offense, and we're going to have to go down and show that we can do this. And they did. 14 plays, 67 yards for the touchdown. Just consistently
4 third down conversions for them on that drive.
4 very painful third down conversions. The first one was the 10-yarder to T. Higgins, where Trey was in pretty good position, but just kind of big boyed him and took the ball. They then keep moving down. Then you get the 7-yarder to Samaje Perine on 3rd and 6. Just kind of difficult again and makes it painful. Then you get 3rd and 10 and you get the Andre Yoshivas for 11 yards. And then ultimately they convert again on the 3rd and 1. P. Ryan runs for 4 yards. Next play, Chase Brown punches it in for 5 yards. And it just, so many chances to get off the field, a couple 3rd and longs in there. And it just felt like all right, buckle up. It's going to be one of those days.
Yeah, this didn't feel great. It was so reminiscent. Everybody all pregame was talking about, the weather looks just like this playoff game. Oh, everything's feeling like this playoff game. And then you come out here with the drive where, again, to your point earlier, the Bills are playing in a lot of zone. They're off press. They're not pressing. You're not getting pressure. Guys are looking open. You're unable to stop them on 3rd downs. It feels like they can kind of do whatever they want to do to you. And allowing a team to go 14 plays, 67 yards, and an 8-minute drive just does feel so defeating. I know that this has been historically something that the Bills have done going back to Leslie Frazier, where like the scripted stuff, it takes them a while to kind of settle in and see what a team is doing. But man, you feel frustrated when it's a team like this, and the narrative about these two teams and how they match up feels like that. I think as fans, it drives up a lot of old scar tissue. I know I had it in this moment of the game of being like, man, but you know what I was thinking in this, Greg, is there hasn't been a lot of, as good as James Cook has played, as good as at times Josh Allen has played, there hasn't been a lot of games where it's been just fully like, hey, the offense is going to have to win this one. And that's where I was at. I was like, okay, if it's going to be like this today, the offense is finally going to have to put that cape on and win a game. And the follow-up drive felt like that was going to be exactly how it goes, because the Bills punched back right away, just kind of, you can lead that one off.
Yeah, they go 8 plays, 69 yards for a scoring drive, but it doesn't end the way that we hope. Right off the bat, first down play action to Dawson Knox, right, taking advantage of
Gets
the
an
tight end
incentive on
coverage.
the first play, right? He hit a incentive with that catch, I
Oh, I
think.
didn't realize that.
I think he
Oh,
did.
Knox did. Hey, good for him. Good for
Yeah.
him. Get your money back. Obviously,
I've always
we've
said
said,
he's a super value of that contract.
yeah, just a great contract. Really, really
Yeah.
deserving every penny that he's gotten. We've said that forever. Don't look that up. Then they continue their way down the field. Ty Johnson hits that 23-yarder, which was kind of crazy. Just finding his way, bursting right up through there, and then in that spot, like we run for 4 yards, run for 4 yards, and they kind of telegraph the Josh quarterback like power draw thing that they do, and like Cincinnati saw it coming, and Edwards got beat pretty bad to the inside for quick penetration. And now all of a sudden they run that because it's, they're very clearly seeing it as 4-down territory. So you're running on 3rd and 2. If Josh gets it close, they'll just run a different play on 4th down. But now you lose 3 yards. You go back to 4th and 5 at the Cincinnati 8. And I still would have liked to have seen them go for it, but I get that catching you in the moment where that wasn't your plan, that wasn't the like follow-up play call that you already had in, just put you into a weird spot where all of a sudden, and now it was just for as good of a drive as that was, it was super deflating to be like, oh, I guess it's only 7-3, and now we're giving them the ball back, and it just was very in the moment.
Yeah, it's mad that you skipped over on that Ty Johnson 20-something yarder that he had a touchdown.
Oh,
he had a wide open touchdown and just slipped or tripped on some of the turf, or I don't know. The turf monster got him. The snow
I think
turf
it was
monster.
obviously just a little pile of snow, most likely.
Pile of snow.
Just a little tiny.
Just got him. You can't convince me that wasn't going to be a touchdown. He had a step in the edge and space. And at the moment, it was a 4-point swing. That's a 4-point swing for you. And I think the analytics said go for it. I get what you're saying. Like you're caught off guard in that moment that you don't think. I know a lot of people in my mentions were saying Brady got too cute on the Allen keep. It works a lot. But I'm not going to say that one's too cute in that moment. There might be a couple plays that you could say that, but that wasn't it. But I won't lie, and I'm pretty lenient with giving the coaching staff okay to go for it in this situation. I felt in this moment I was kind of mad. I didn't feel like you won. You just missed that touchdown from Ty. You had it, and you had a chance to really answer back. But you're right there, and you got to feel against what you just saw in the Bengals and what you've seen on film from their offense, what that offense can do to you, that you can't win this game with field goals and that you got to score. Unfortunately, it doesn't end up mattering in the end of the score. Those 3 points does make a difference eventually. But in that moment right there, Greg, I was thinking, man, you can't beat the Bengals by answering their touchdown drives with field goals.
Yeah. Speaking of the field goals here, MV Mason asking, what's the story on Tyler Bass? By the way, have the Bills moved on from him then? They haven't, but they did. Sean McDermott confirmed he has had season-ending surgery. So he is done for this year. They'll cross that bridge again next year. I have no idea. We have no idea if Matt Prater wants to play more after this. He is 41 years old or whatever he is. So I would assume that Tyler Bass is going to be in a kicking competition next summer. Maybe that involves Matt Prater. Maybe it involves Matt Prater and a rookie. I don't know. But I have a feeling that it's going to be a kicking competition next summer between some combination of players, and that he is under contract next year. There's still some money left, but they're in a spot where they can walk away next year without too much pain and could release him and get cap savings, get like $3 million in cap savings. So at a very minimum, Tyler Bass will have to earn his job next year because he does not have any guarantees giving him a leg up.
Tough for him, man.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. And right now, Matt Prater continues to make most of his kicks, and that's all I really care about.
That's it.
The reason this was so deflating was because we answered with a field goal, and Cincinnati answered right back with another touchdown drive of their own. 6 plays, 55 yards. Got the first one to Jordan Poyer right off the bat. Then we see some of those annoying Gesicki plays. 3rd and 11. They get it to Gesicki, and this is one where I think Taron is like right there in coverage, like arms up between his arms, and he just high points the ball over top of him. Then we get the deep ball to T. Higgins, where like Harrison was right there in coverage, and he just makes an awesome toe tap catch along the sideline, and that's just a big boy play. That's just what we were hoping Keon Coleman would be, was that kind of crazy, contested catch monster that T. Higgins is.
Yeah, I think you saw there, like, it was good coverage in terms of speed, being able to stay with him. I think that is where Harrison's game is going to have to grow in the NFL, is just he's got to put on a little muscle and weight. Yeah. It was really easy for T. Higgins. It wasn't even offensive pass interference, but it was just enough to get the separation that he need.
A couple of people called for OPI in the Discord channel. It wasn't.
He didn't extend his arms. It was just he's such a big strength. That was grown man strength versus a kid that just entered the league.
Probably got like a 40-pound weight advantage on Max Harrison.
Yes, he just kind of pushed him off to the side. I would be upset if I was the other team and that got called. It was a good play by he and Burrow. Good throws and catches beat good coverage all the time. There's nothing you can do about that. But T. Higgins has presented that problem to the Bills for years. He's that kind of guy. And to your point, that is what we were hoping Keon Coleman would do, because the NFL is a place where you're going to be covered and you have to make those contested catches with your body. And we saw here in this game that Coleman's not that guy. He almost gave up an interception because he wasn't able to get a body in against the defensive back. And so, that's one area I would like to see Harrison over this offseason get a little bit of weight so he can kind of compete with those guys. Because I don't think you see Christian Benford probably get pushed out from the space as much as that. But that's a tough matchup for a rookie against T. Higgins in space. Like, that's where T. Higgins is supposed to win those reps.
Yeah, and that's, again, Harrison still has some of that development to go, but being in position with your footwork there, he'll learn also. It doesn't always have to be the physicality. Use your elite speed and footwork to get there and to be able to make a play on the ball, to be able, because you're already there and in position. So learning to keep your eyes on the ball more as the play's going, he'll develop that as his career progresses.
You heard in the broadcast, Greg Olsen talking about Brandon Beane coming in. Obviously, they must have a great relationship, Greg Olsen and Brandon Beane, throughout the years, and saying how excited Brandon Beane is about Harrison, and that, and obviously we saw the high end of Benford is still very much there today. That is the future. So we know internally, like, Trey White is just a matter of time before those reps come back. And I think it's going to ramp up here as we get into the playoffs, but the Bills are super high on Harrison internally.
I know I was just guessing last week that I thought that the rotation had more to do with Harrison returning from injury than it did Trey playing better than him. And that this week we did see it swing back further to much, much closer to a true 50-50. So we'll see how that progresses as the season goes. And
straight up here, Patrick's not wrong. Greg Olsen, he got a raw deal that Tom Brady got so much money and Fox had to put him in the top slot because Greg Olsen's the top guy.
He is. Yeah, I think he's the best game analyst going right now. I think he's the best
one. I understand Fox's like dilemma there.
Yeah, of course. And like
Brady's a draw.
Brady is getting less bad than what he was. He was rough at first. Now he's getting a little bit better, but he's still not even close to as natural and good as Greg Olsen. Heck, I think J.J. Watt is already up above those guys. Like, I think Watt's pretty good and going to become a bigger piece of what's going on there. I think they're both better than Romo. I like Aikman and Buck more than a lot of fans do. I think they've become kind of cliche to hate on, like Collinsworth, but I actually think Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are really good on Monday Night Football. But I think that Greg Olsen's better than Aikman is in what he does.
Yeah.
Luckily here, so we dig ourselves a hole. Now the Bills really do answer back here. I think you can make a case on a West Herr drive of the game as far as the
staying in the game,
the value of like, hey, let's not let them get away from us here. They come back 12 plays, 70 yards. We get another nice one to Knox on second down here. This is another one where we get ourselves into a fourth down at midfield at the 45, and Josh hits Gabe Davis for a big play, 17 yards down the field. He almost
got stacked on that play too.
Yes, Josh. Really,
that's
really.
Gabe Davis is so much better than what Keon needs to learn is what Gabe Davis is. When Josh breaks loose, Gabe Davis is always available for a play.
Yes. Make yourself available. Make yourself available right then. You have to change what's going on here. Come back to the ball and make yourself available to him. And that's why Josh trusts him so much.
I got him the money he got in Jacksonville.
Yes, being able literally. That's why Jacksonville's paying him to play for Buffalo this year.
That's right.
They keep moving their way down the field. Get that. I like that they've been mixing in the fake Khalil Shakir screen with the backside running back screen to Ty Johnson, where you get the other two linemen. So 3 linemen go out with Shakir like a wide receiver screen, but the other 2 go out with Ty Johnson for a nice like backdoor screen. And that one had a chance to go for more here. Connor McGovern wasn't able to keep on the block on the one linebacker. Otherwise, I think Johnson would have scored. But Josh ends up getting down here. This one got me really anxious.
I hated this 3rd and 3 call, to be honest.
Yeah, like
it's 3rd and 3 and you throw it behind the line of scrimmage on a slip
to a guy who's not like elusive per se. Like if he already has a head of steam, Dawson Knox can get yards after catch, but he's not going to be like slippery to get yards after catch.
And it was a great play. I forget who it was on the Bengals.
Geno Stone.
Stone came up and makes the tackle there. So it was a great play. It was because if he beats Stone, he gets the first down there. But I didn't love I like the play call, just not at that time at the 3rd and 3, and then it puts you in a really weird spot where you already were at like 4 yards to go, and you took the field goal. Now you can't. Right, because now you're down. You have to go for it, and thank God Josh Allen and Khalil Shakir have an amazing connection. Because I still don't know how this play turned into a touchdown.
So you talk about the anxiety of this play. So one, we just have this deflating play on 3rd down. The previous time we saw them kick the field goal, so my brain went to like, oh my God, he's going to kick the field goal again because it was 3rd and short and we lost yards and they're going backwards and it's not the play that they had in. Thank God they stayed on the field and ran it, but then they run it. And Josh is scrambling around and trying to keep it alive and look like he was going to run and then like resets himself.
And then throws into triple coverage.
Like threads a needle between 3 defenders to Khalil Shakir in a throw that is just pure arm arrogance and pure, I can throw this ball so freaking hard you can't get to it before my guy gets it, and impales Khalil Shakir with a football. Like probably needs to apologize to Khalil Shakir for how hard he threw this ball at him, and just puts it between 3 defenders, and it's a touchdown. And I still don't understand how it happened.
Yeah, it went right, like felt like zipped the ear hole of the Bengals defender. I want to know what it sounds like when that goes by your ear hole and just hits the pads of Khalil Shakir for a touchdown. But unbelievable play that very few people can make. And again, we were just blessed at the quarterback play. And this was one example, both ways today. Such great quarterback play. One example here to keep the Bills in this game. You're right. This should have been a West Herr drive of the game.
Yeah, it had the pieces for it. Yeah. I literally never saw Joseph Osai hit Josh Allen for what the roughing the passer was. I never
showed it.
So I don't know if like I was in the Discord channel because sometimes between plays I'll go back down to the Discord channel.
It was bad.
Okay. Yeah. So it was like
it was a legitimate one. It wasn't a Josh flop. He hit him straight up.
Okay. Yeah. So we get the roughing the passer, which I really like that Sean McDermott leans into that. Like, hey, if we get it down to the 1 yard line, we're going to get it more than 50-50. And he's right. Josh Allen's our quarterback. They run that. They ran the play that I call for every time. We're down low. Like, this is what I want. I want Josh Allen on a bootleg. I want 3 guys coming out in different layers and give me a short guy, a medium guy, and a deep guy. And I trusted out of those 4 options, Josh is going to pick one. Like, I wouldn't even care if they know it's coming. I would run that play. I would spam that play. That would be my red zone, my short yard, like a deep red zone spam play. As I would just run those layers plays over and over and over again. Like, listen, I God bless you if you can stop all 4 of them.
Yeah.
Thankfully, they didn't. They converted. Dawson Knox gets the catch in the back of the end zone, and now it starts some weird math that comes into play as the game goes, where now the Bills are down 14-11, and now are within a field goal, even though they settled
to have those
for
4 points from Ty's slip. That's all I kept thinking. It'd be nice to have those 4 points back from Ty's slip.
Shout out to Elena Getzenberg. Per Next Gen Stats, Christian Benford had 16 matchups against Jamar Chase. 2 targets, 0 receptions, 1 pick six.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Love to see it.
Unfortunately, again, for the 3rd straight drive, the Cincinnati Bengals come out 8 plays, 69 yards, and a touchdown. This is the 3rd long touchdown drive.
To be fair, the refs gave them like 30 yards on this drive that I'm still infuriated about, but we won, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And again, this is This is more so the NFL, in my opinion, the NFL.
It's a bad rule.
Than it is the ref. The
No,
refs
yeah,
are executing
that's
the
fine.
rule properly. I just wish they would find a way to disincentivize the underthrown DPI. Like the underthrown DPI is just such a cheat code. Joe Flacco weaponized it in Baltimore. And that when you have a defender trailing in coverage and you underthrow the ball, the receiver is going to come back for the ball. The defender can't know that he's going to fight back through him to try to get the ball. And it's just a free chunk of yards. This time, Andre Yoshivas, 33 yards. I will say, I think there was almost a chance that you could make the case Deion Walker tipped the ball, in which case, like, pass interference is not possible. I think he just hits his hand and doesn't technically hit the ball, but it was real close.
Super close.
Real close.
Yeah, it impacted the throw for sure. I don't know that he hit the hand. But man, and on the same play, on the same drive, on a 1st and 10, Taryn almost had a pick, which would have been a game swinging type play. But then to go from almost having a pick to then giving up a 30-yard on a DPI that was still good coverage, God, has to be so frustrating when you're a defensive back, like to have those types of swings in a moment.
Super difficult.
Also, then I don't know what a catch is beyond that.
So on the next play, you now get like the age-old argument of in the NFL nowadays. Burrow, great job scrambling around. We should have had a sack on this one too. Shaq Thompson hits him, is there at the end. He throws a corner route to Chase Brown. Chase Brown's coming back to the ball. It's one of those plays where his body is in the end zone. The ball crosses the line initially for a split second as he's trying to make a catch. He then is coming back towards it, like secures the catch, what looks like after he's out of the end zone. And then as he's going to the ground, is holding the ball against his body, and the ball clearly scrapes across the line. I didn't see the ball move, so I don't know that it was like screaming like, oh my God, that's for sure not a catch. But the ball very clearly hit the ground. And if he had control, it was just pinned with like the lower third of the ball against his body, and that the other more than half of the ball is touching the ground. We've certainly seen that overturned in many other cases.
Yeah,
not only was it not overturned, they said it was a touchdown.
Yeah. The ball never crossed the pylon.
Not in his possession. Like when it first hits him, it's across the ball, but he has not secured the catch yet. And then by the time he secures the catch, he's very clearly not in there. And if the ball crossed, it was for a split second as he's coming back out of the end zone. So the fact that they did actually change the call on the field and thought there was conclusive evidence that it was not only caught, but caught in a position where it was a touchdown was wild. I don't understand how that was the call.
Here's the thing. I think that is a catch. I think what he did is a catch, but the problem is that the NFL isn't consistent and they changed some of the rules.
We've seen that overturned lots of times.
We've seen it overturned. So that is where it comes back to like, well, then what is a catch? Because if you're going to tell me that if the ball hits the ground, then you can't have control, well, then the ball hit the ground. But I do believe you can catch the ball and the ball can hit the ground. And those two things aren't mutually exclusive. I'm just so frustrated. They got to clean up that rule. That was a catch. I'm not mad at the result of that play. I just never know where we're going to go with that one. That's one that every time they go under the hood, I have no idea. It just seems like it's up to whatever that officiating crew wants to say it is. I've seen it overturned. I wasn't mad that this one wasn't. I'm just frustrated with the NFL.
Yeah, super frustrating. So that puts them down 21-11. We now get, I would say, realistically, probably maybe the darkest moment, like even beyond the infuriating fumble. The Bills, you got 2 minutes and 7 seconds left. They're driving down. We get James Cook for 18 yards right off the bat. We're in midfield. This is feeling great. It's on our side of the 2-minute drill. We get another run. All right, 2nd and 5. This is great. It's 2nd and 5 at the Cincy 45 of the 2-minute drill. This is working out perfect to be able to go down and get a double dip here to be able to take back control. We have not stopped them once. So now you're in position where, okay, if we score twice, we can be up 25-21 the next time Joe Burrow touches the ball. This is perfect. We get a 2-yard run on second down that gets it to 3rd and 3. And then we get a James Cook false start, which takes some options off of the menu here because it was 3rd and 3. Now it's 3rd and 8. Now it's an obvious passing down before you probably can run on 3rd and 3 to give yourself a chance to convert and to have a 4th and short. We pass to Shakir to get it back to 4th and 3, and now get to 4th and 3, get a kind of scramble drill play, tries to get it to Shakir. It's incomplete. And now it's just like, wait, what happened? We were set up so perfect to double dip. Not only do we not double dip, we give them the ball back at their own 43 with 1:16 left. And I was bewildered in the moment.
Yeah. It's super frustrating too, because I think on that screen to Shakir, it felt like he almost had the first down, but then he stepped on, I think it was McGovern or something. They got tangled up there. And so it felt you almost got the first down there. And then, I think where your dark moment comes from is you just saw this offense go up and down on your defense 3 times. You give them the ball almost at midfield. You're almost certain that they're going to score here at the half. So instead of starting the double dip that you're feeling like, oh my God, you're about to be down 28-11 at halftime of this game, or maybe they just get a field goal or something. But I did not feel like you were going to be able to get a stop. And this was going to be worst case scenario. They were going to boat race you the rest of this game. This is about the time when I texted you of, hey, let's keep this show short. And here we are, an hour and 15 in.
Yeah, it's wild. Thankfully, we get a penalty right off the bat. They get a penalty, so they're moving the ball here. Tanner Hudson gets an 11-yard catch, and then we get an incompletion on one where he tries to get the ball to Higgins and gets overthrown. We get some pressure on that one. Then we get a sack on the Christian Benford corner blitz, which thank God we needed in that moment, and it finally got a little bit of momentum going. We get it to 3rd and 18, and this is the one where thankfully Higgins couldn't get his footing and is kind of backpedaling weirdly and is incomplete because he was open with a ton of room to run in front of him, overthrows him. It's 4th and 18. We get them off the field. We don't get the benefits of getting them off the field because there's 10 seconds left at our own 26. So we just take a knee and go into the half. But it was at least kind of a, okay, that could have been worse, at least that kind of feeling at halftime.
Yes, but I wasn't like catching my breath. I was mad. It felt like this was exactly the game that our friends like Greg, the Fear Bunker folks, were expecting. You're on pace to give up 40 points in a game at home, and your offense is still kind of stubbing its toe when it has opportunities to get back in the game. So it felt like, but this is a second half team. This is a team that makes adjustments. They do a good job at it. I don't know how the halftimes go, but they've been doing a really good job at this all year long of whatever adjustments they need to make, they are able to do it. And I think we're getting sort of closer to a West Herr drive of the game here coming up. Because honestly, there's probably 4 or 5 of them that pop up here, or even moments in the game here from now on.
No, this was mine. Coming out of the second half, I thought this was absolutely critical. So they come out. It's 9 plays, 75 yards. We even dug ourselves a little extra hole right at the beginning. So we get an 8-yard sack by BJ Hill. Where all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, we just can't possibly not make this hard on ourselves. We then get the Brandon Cooks DPI. His biggest contribution to the game today was getting that 19-yard DPI, which was critical because it was also on a 2nd and 18. So needing that to be able to get our way back into it. We get the Josh scramble for 16 yards, which really, I think kind of started to ignite them. As we got going here, the nice swing pass to James Cook, get a couple, and then hit the big one, 27 yards to Cook, where we got a head of steam kind of rolling, and then finds Kincaid for the touchdown on kind of another scramble drill type play on 2nd and goal. And finally, like, okay, all right, we can get our bearings here. It's still only 2nd and 21-18, but just feels like, okay, just keep it in reach here, and we have a chance to really take control.
Yeah, as bad as the defense played, I do feel like just because the NFL and the ball is a weird shape and it bounces funky sometimes, if you could just get it within reach, like, I didn't feel like the defense could get a stop, but hey, you never know. Like, the ball comes out, it's a slippery day. You just got to get within reach, and I feel good. This gets you there. So this is a great drive of the game to pick in this one. And shout out to Kincaid going through this injury. He's for sure still hurt. You saw Kyle talk about some of the swelling that he saw when he was walking in shorts to this game, playing hurt. Still came up with a couple really big catches.
Thankfully, I was watching carefully. They didn't land hard or take a shot to it, and I didn't see anything obvious other than normal NFL game soreness.
Yeah.
I think he might have gotten through like, hey, all right, get another week of rest here.
Yeah, but this was a guy I was saying, hey, sit him for an extra week. He's so important to this offense that, but for him to gut it out and then participate and contribute in a game like this and get you this score, hats off to him to play through that and still find a way to produce. Do you want to keep the drive of the game up for this? This isn't my drive of the game, but you might as well.
So real quick, I'll mention that on the other side of this, that I don't think the Bills have like a hard and fast rule, because my guess is the difference between Spencer Brown playing this week and Dalton Kincaid playing this week was probably not that far off, and that they really do take them situationally, person by person, because it was not like, hey, if it was, hey, let's just be conservative, I think that both of them would have sat. So the fact that he played and Spencer Brown didn't, I think is just a sign that like, hey, they really are going to take it case by case.
How much of it also do you think plays into like rosters and activating and stuff like that? And who we have available that
greater depth on the offensive line, although I don't know that Ryan Vandermark was great today. I'm excited to see Tylen Grable get all the way back healthy where he can be a right tackle when needed. But we obviously, between Alec Anderson, Ryan Vandermark, Tylen Grable, Cedric Van Pran Granger, we have the best offensive line depth in the NFL.
And Latu's already had, has he had two?
Already had his full 3 elevations.
Or his full 3, I thought he only had 2. Yeah.
No, or whatever the limit is. We've already done the limit of his elevation. Okay. I think you're allowed to do 3.
3, yeah.
And we would have had to have created a 53-man roster spot for him to come up, or play with 2 tight ends and use Gilliam exclusively in that 3rd tight end role.
So I'm assuming some of that
part of the math
plays
part
into,
of the math.
Yeah. And then you do get a stop. Look at this. Look at the Bills.
Yeah. So this should have been, and your tweet was spot on, should have been the moment where, okay, we come down, we get a score, we get a 3 and out with like, we're bringing pressure, we get some incompletions, kind of confusing Burrow a little bit, even got a penalty on them. And now we're getting the ball back. So a quick 3 and out.
3 plays minus 2 yards a minute off the clock.
Yeah.
Against Joe Burrow.
It's unbelievable. It was absolutely perfect. And then we get the ball back, 12 plays, 70 yards, moving our way down the field. Again, first down play action.
Should have been the drive of the game here.
Dawson knocks for 12. This should have been this back to it. Should have been our own magical double dip.
Yeah.
Kincaid again later for 20 yards.
Can I step in right here?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you can help me out. Maybe I don't understand. So we get the Cook, what looks like a Cook touchdown, jumps over the pylon. Ball goes out of bounds. There was a penalty on the play, a holding. The refs mark. Offense is lined up. Everybody's going. A challenge flag.
We're back to 16, ready to rerun the play.
A challenge flag comes out. They're challenging the fumble because if it's out of the back of the end zone, it's a touchback and it's Bengals ball. Smart by the Bengals to challenge that. That's the very smart challenge. I didn't understand, one, how they were able to challenge, because it seemed like they did take the penalty and move the Bills back. And so in my opinion, if you take the penalty, then you don't get to challenge it. But then they allowed them to challenge it, made a change to the call, and then still gave the Bengals the penalty yards.
So one, I think the confusion and frustration is very valid, because it doesn't feel like that should be allowed. I think the reason is that regardless of what's going on, you get the outcome of a play and the choice by the non-offending team of whether you want to accept the penalty or not, because it wasn't a pre-snap penalty, it was during the play. So you get the result of a play, and then the non-offending team gets to choose, do you decline the penalty or take it? So they chose to take it. Then it turned out that, we're not sure if that's what that play was, so now we need to go check that. So yes, it does feel like they kind of get their cake and eat it too, because they're the ones who challenged it. And if it doesn't work out, there's no risk because they just get to take the penalty. So it feels kind of unfair, but I really think it's just as simple as like, well, before we let you choose whether to accept the penalty or not, we need to figure out if that's really what the play was. Let us fix that. Okay, we figured out what the play was now. all right, now with that being the result of the play, do you want to accept the penalty or not? And it just, anytime you're doing a challenge, you're basically going back in time to that moment. So it felt like they got an unfair advantage because they did. Like, I take that back. They did not get an unfair advantage. It felt like they were getting an unfair advantage, and really they took advantage of the situation to get the benefit of getting a no risk challenge.
Yeah, I thought you had to decline the penalty to make the challenge, but I don't know. That's something.
Yeah, well, I think that's that only is the case if we run the next play. Like, until we run the next play, you haven't closed the window on being able to do, like, accepting the penalty feels like its own event, but it's not really, because you haven't run another play yet. So until you run the next play, you haven't actually closed out that window to be able to do it. Because I will say it happened again later. They did not show it. I don't remember which drive it was on. There was a catch late, and it was, we ran up and hurried up and ran a play. I think it was Gabe Davis or so. I'll think of it when we do the play-by-play here. And you could tell we hurried up to run the play, and they didn't show the replay in the stadium or on the game. And I was like, oh, I don't think that was a catch. And we hurried up and ran a play, and it just never came up again. So we'll see where that comes up. So here again, James Cook doesn't get the touchdown. We get the play gets reversed, gets pulled back by the holding, and we're feeling like, all right, well, we'll still be able to be okay because it's only 1st and 16. Josh gets like half of it back on the first play. We now get it to 2nd and 8. We then get a penalty on the Bengals, so we get a free first down.
A miss by Allen on that one.
Yeah, it was a chance for a touchdown there. Keep moving our way down the field. 5-yard run, 2-yard run. We get the read option RPO play where he doesn't give the ball and gets a slant to Keon Coleman, gets us down to like the 2-yard line, and then like the weird angle, like the way that the broadcast was showing the play, you don't really see Cook, and all we do is like we see Bengals players scrambling on the ground in the end zone, and it felt in the moment like, oh my God, did he try to reach across the goal line again? And it wasn't. He just got hit from behind, I think, by Julian Battle. I don't know if it was him right there. I don't know if Turner caused it or if Battle caused it. But just well-timed hit, comes out, and now James Cook fumbles twice on the same drive. And that felt, that's where you mentioned 91.7% swing in.
Not yet.
The result of the next drive is what
the result of the next drive goes to a 90, because you enter the fourth quarter here at the next drive.
Yeah, correct. So that's 46 seconds left. We just gave the ball back. We had the chance there that should have put us up 25-21. And again, you'd start talking about that fumble plus the Ty Johnson slip, and that's like an 11-point swing between those two plays. That we should be going up like 29-21 at that point. And instead we don't, and we give the ball back to Cincinnati. They go down the field here on a 12-play, 80-yard drive, 7 minutes off the clock, just a completely back-breaking drive. Don't even need their third down conversions as much because they're just converting over and over on first or second down. They did get one to Jamar Chase that he just, Jamar Chase beat Cam Lewis in coverage on the third down. Got another kind of big boy play. T. Higgins goes up and gets the ball for an 18-yarder, and then hit Gesicki for the touchdown in the end zone. And I think that's the one where we sent the cover zero.
Yeah.
The cover zero blitz.
I don't know what the hell Cam Lewis was doing on that one. He also just started blitzing, he
was one of the 4 guys in coverage, like, to send the other 7, and instead we sent 8, and he wasn't even close to like going after anyone.
I think everyone is very mad at Taron Johnson for that play, but I think Taron was looking at Cam like, no, and then there was 2 guys Taron had to cover, and he just started chasing across, and it was a good play design to beat that cover 0 too, right? You got 2. You needed
TJ Sanders to get home with the untouched pressure. He had to win.
Yeah, somebody has to hit him when you sell out like that. They had 2 wide open. Burrow could have thrown to any one of those wide receivers. Somebody was open.
We basically needed Shaq Thompson to be the untouched. Shaq Thompson, or I don't know if Dorian Williams is the guy that was in. We needed one of the more athletic linebackers to be the untouched guy coming straight at him, where he's not able to juke.
Yes. But sending a guy that's not supposed to get sent also does not.
Yeah, one less. Yeah, correct. Yeah, like we're already like taking our cover zero, you only have 4 guys in coverage. You can't do it with 3 guys in coverage. Like, good Lord. Like, that's
tough.
what's the Madden play? Engage 8? Like, that's not a real NFL play. Like, no one does engage 8. That's not a real thing.
Yeah, I didn't like that. That is where you caught me tweeting this game's over.
Yeah, and I mean, in fairness, like, everybody felt it in the moment. Like, that was our chance. That was our chance. Like, we were about to go in, take the lead, and we just needed to get to where, like, hey, we're not going to stop them, but get me to where we're throwing haymakers back and forth,
right?
And like alternating,
even
leads.
It up. So
we can't keep chasing. Yeah, we can't keep chasing where we have to score twice and stop them. And it just felt super, super deflating.
Yeah, well, it just, you knew this offense, it was going, at least in theory, that you would have a tough time getting stops and getting the ball back, and time was crunching. And this is the second drive now of 7 minutes in this game, right? Because that first drive they had was 7 or so minutes. And so you know that this is also a team that, as you get late into this game, if they're not trying to push the ball down the field and score, that they could also take another 7 minutes off the clock. So even if you score, if you're not able to get stops, none of it matters. And so when they're going up 2 scores, I don't know what time left. I think it was 8 minutes left right about after they scored. They flipped win probability here up to, you got a 92% win probability, I think, with 8 minutes left in the fourth. Nobody in their right minds thought the Bills were going to come back and win this at that point.
So I'm going to guess that the next 9 consecutive plays is your West Herr drive of the game, or the rest of the game could be your West Herr drive of the game?
I'm going to wait a handful of more plays. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the Bills are down right now. We're down 28 to 18. Feels kind of, helpless, but okay, we're down 10 points. We've done this before. And they needed to find a way to score quickly. They come down 4 plays, 68 yards, a minute and 11 seconds, 16 yards to Terrell. This is it. So 16 yards to Terrell Shavers. I don't think Shavers is in bounds.
I thought he was. His feet weren't, his butt was. He caught the ball, butt's in bounds.
Sure. He might have been, but I'm really glad they hurried up and ran a play so that we didn't have to find out.
I think they might have been down to 1 timeout here for Cincinnati too. So maybe. I think that put pressure to not challenge in that moment.
They run no huddle. They hurry up, get a quick one to Kincaid, who actually takes it for 12 yards, which was pretty big.
Nice screen.
We then get an incompletion, taking a shot to Kincaid, and then I was so confused on this play because my brain knew that there's got to be a defender over there because I saw a receiver go. So there has to be a defender there somewhere. And they just never came into the screen, and Josh just kept running. And then you saw on the replay, Brandon Cooks kind of okey doke DJ Turner, and Cooks kept running his route after Josh was running as he blocked him with his brain. Of all right, you don't realize Josh is running, I'm going to keep going. And then by the time Turner figured it out, Cook then gave him a little shove, and it was too late, and Josh had already kind of cut towards the sideline.
Really nice block by Gabe Davis on this one too.
Yes, Gabe was really nice.
Just to get a hand on a guy. That sometimes all you need is just hands on a player, just to pause them for a moment. And you see that Josh still is, even though all the complaints I've been doing all year of him not getting those ones in between the guards and being able to step up and make some of the plays that we've seen him make, when he hits that top speed, he's still so special. Get you back in this one, which we'll flip now to my drive of the game. Cincinnati, a very rare drive of the game when the other team has the ball here.
It's deserving.
But Cincinnati gets the ball, and I think all of us are thinking all right, now it's just going to be 13 seconds. We're going to just trade shots with a potent offense that we can't stop all day, and hopefully Josh does some superhero stuff. 7 minutes left on the clock. 1st and 10, they hit Noah Fant for a first down. It felt like, here they go. They're just going to march down the field. Brown gets 3 yards.
And on that, is that the one Taryn was just barely away from picking off?
No, that was earlier in the game. Taryn was also close on this one. In the chat, people are, ripping Taryn apart. I actually didn't think it was that bad of a game. I mean, Joe Burrow threw some balls today. There was a guys in tight coverage. Oh, you're muted. You muted yourself. You're still talking, but
he's never going to look good in those kind of spots when you have huge receivers. That's just never going to be his forte.
Yeah. You get to a 2nd and 7. There's Chase gets one. Bills have a penalty decline, and it just feels again like they're going to get going. You get into a 1st and 10. Christian Benford blitzes off the edge and just plucks the ball. We've talked about it here all night. Christian Benford plucks the ball, takes it for a pick six. One of the most beautiful defensive plays I've seen from one of the most elite Bills defensive backs that we've seen in years. Takes it back for a pick six. And I was telling you offline, my son predicted this one because in the moment, I'm so frustrated. You're seeing them move the ball, and I'm saying somebody's got to make a play here. Somebody has to step up with a strip sack,
individual effort,
fumble, or anything. And my kid loves playing football at recess, and his favorite play is a pick six. And he's like, "No, they need a pick six." And I'm thinking, like, dude, they're not going to pick for Joe Burrow. What are you talking about? Takes it and
thrown an interception yet this year.
I think it's the moment my son fell in love with NFL because he was like, I was right. And we got it. We got the pick six. I'm jumping up and down. My kids I'm losing my mind. The house is going nuts. The dog's barking. And the Bills took this game back right in that moment. They snatched him snatching that ball out of the air and running it back was snatching the game out of the Bengals' grasps and running it back for a touchdown and scoring twice in 2 weeks here. I think he's the player of the game. I hope he's the AFC defensive player of the week, like it was talked about. But this is my West Herr drive of the game: is Benford getting a pick six against Joe Burrow, and really not totally putting the game away, but giving the Bills back the lead in a game where it felt like they were never going to get it.
Yeah, just unbelievable to be able to put themselves into that spot.
And then it gets even better.
What the next play? Jordan Phillips tips the ball up in the air, lands in A.J. Epinez's hands, and like at this point, I've lost all like context and understanding of what's going on. I'm like, wait, what is happening? What is going on? I was so ready to be like, oh, we're gonna keep chasing down by 2 scores. We could never flip it. Now, not only do we flip it, we get the ball back and go down. And
2 interceptions in 20 seconds.
And I almost made this next one my drive of the game because of the decision at the end.
Let's do it. Give them an extra one.
We love the guys over at West Herr, so we're going to
rules. We own this show. We can do whatever we want.
They're not the boss of me. Yeah. So we open it up with a penalty, and it's like, all right, like we're kind of milking the clock. Everybody's kind of nervous. We then get a huge play, 31-yard play to Dawson Knox that feels like, okay, that's going to put him away. We're going to be able to do this. We're down at 1st and goal at the Cincinnati 8. We run for 4 yards, and we finally take some clock off some time off the clock. We start this drive with 5 minutes and 11 seconds to go. We got it down to like 3:22 on the next play. We run again for 1 yard. So now we're at that was 2nd and goal at the 4. We're now at 3rd and goal at the 3. And this one, like I get that we're in a spot where like play action is in play, because if you score, you end the game. But you're also like playing the clock almost equally as much as you're playing the Bengals at this spot, because you're up and have a chance to go up 2 scores, and you're trying to play keep away. They run the play action. It looks like Dawson Knox scores a touchdown. So it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. That's awesome. We got this score to go up 2 scores. We're good. And then they show the reverse angle. He very obviously did not make the catch and bobbled it. There was no debate. They immediately expedited review, changed it. And I'm sitting there going, oh, I can't believe it. We're going to settle for the freaking field goal. Plus, we didn't run any time off the clock. I can't believe this. And they keep the offense on the field. And I am like genuinely shocked at what's going on. I'm like, oh my God, are we going to go for this? And thank God Greg Olsen was saying,
we did the thing the other team didn't.
Yes, like the true definition of analytics. Do what the other team's fans don't want you to do. And I guarantee you, no Bengals fan wanted Josh Allen on the field on that 4th down. Yeah. And we stay on the field. This is just an unbelievably gutsy call by Sean McDermott, knowing that up 4 and up 7 is just not that big of a difference. You're still playing the exact same defense of, hey, you got to stop them from scoring. Like, and yes, you bring a tie into play, and like there are some mathematical elements that it's not the worthless 3 points, but up 4 and up 7 is just not dramatically different. You know that if you want to end this, you need to be able to go for the touchdown. They do. Josh is scrambling around. Weirdly, Cincinnati drops 8 into coverage. They only send 3, and none of those 3 get even remotely close to Josh Allen. He's able to keep adjusting, keep moving. Jackson Hawes is able to engage in like a full-on pass block set, release off of there, get into the end zone and turn around and catches the ball
They
for
were all
the
probably
game
thinking, what's an
clinching
offensive
touchdown.
lineman doing here in the end zone?
Like he had been blocking for so long that how could they even think he was an eligible receiver?
Yeah.
And he's almost as big as David Edwards. So just being in that position is unbelievable. We score, that puts us up 39-28 with an 11-point lead. And yeah, they give up a 2-minute drill scramble, touchdown here, and then have to just run the ball to run the clock out there at the end. Josh scrambles it for the game clinching run on 3rd and 17. But that was the play right there, is that just to be able to go for it, knowing that we need to punch this in to go up 2 scores, because that's what it's going to take to win this. And having that kind of faith and confidence in your team and your quarterback is awesome.
Yeah. I can't believe you just though went through that last drive for the Bills just so nonchalantly, because I don't know about you, but I was still panicking. You get the first get to the 2-minute warning, 2nd and 7. Josh takes that sack, which is a good take. You called that out earlier.
Don't throw it away.
Not stopping the clock, smart in that, because it forces Cincinnati to take their final timeout. But they take their final timeout with 1:54 left, and it's 3rd and 15. Yeah. And that scramble by an 18-yard scramble by Josh is such.
My brain was fully going through like, all right, let's just run like a little swing pass screen.
Run that clock all the way down.
Like seven of the 15 yards back. That'll put us at like the 35. If we get a nice punt from Wisnowski, they should get the ball back with about, let's say a minute left, and
that's too much.
A minute left, and they're probably going to need to go like 80 yards with no timeouts.
Yeah.
Which again, Joe Burrow with a
does
full
not
minute
feel good. Yeah.
would be like incredibly anxiety inducing. Correct. And Greg Moyer would have been vomiting.
Yes. But we don't have to worry about that because Josh did Josh stuff.
Yes. Josh, pulls it down, runs for 17 yards on 3rd and 15. Would have kept running, but slid.
Yeah. I don't think anyone would. There wasn't a lot of guys available to stop him, but the way he was getting that first down almost no matter what.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable. Just to, it's an ultimate, like, we have Josh Allen and you don't kind of game, because Joe Burrow was great today and Josh Allen was just greater.
Yep. Yeah.
It's crazy. A couple more super chats here before we bring up producer Colin for the best stats of the day. Jay Buck here saying, "Go Bills. Thanks for the coverage. You're awesome, man. We really, really appreciate you." Jason Brown here saying, "Go Bills. Love you guys and your commentary. Keep up the good work. Any thoughts on maybe transitioning an aging Trey to safety?" No, he doesn't like tackling. I will say,
I don't like that.
People bring that up all the time. A player that will be an option for late in their career is Christian Benford. Like, Christian Benford's the kind of guy that late in their career could do a Charles Woodson type switch where you could become an impactful safety when you do no longer, because he's already not an elite athlete at corner. There, when we get to that point, age 30, where like just at corner, it's not viable anymore, and you want to get 4 or 5 more years out of a player. He's the kind of guy I will be interested in converting many years from now. Many years from now. He's got great cornerback play ahead of him. He's the kind of player that can make that conversion. Trey White is not the guy. He barely likes to tackle when it's on the outside, and he's just holding on for dear life.
Yeah, and even people have said Taron Johnson going to safety. I know he's more physical than Trey.
He has the willingness. I don't know if he has the body to pull it off.
For it, the range for it. I don't know. I like the safety room now, and I do think Taylor Rapp's going to come back, and it'll be a nice safety room, which is what
along
they
with
wanted
obviously
it to be.
One of our top 4 draft picks next year is going to be a safety too, to compete with Rapp and to be there with Bishop as part of that group in the future.
Sure.
All right, producer Colin, are you ready to come up and join us and be able to tell us the best and most wonderful stats for today's game for our fantastic Southern Tier Brewing Company edition of What's Brewing?
Yeah, I've got lots of Josh Allen stats, lots of Christian Benford stats for you, and then just some overall Bill stats. So we'll start with Josh Allen, because what better place to start than the franchise quarterback? He's the first player in NFL history with 3 consecutive seasons of 20-plus passing and 10-plus rushing touchdowns.
Yep. That makes sense.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
No one does it like him.
Hashtag good at football.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, Allen's 40-yard rushing touchdown is the longest rushing touchdown by a quarterback in team history in the regular season. In the postseason, he had a 52-yarder against Pittsburgh. But in the regular season, yes, that's the new franchise record.
It's awesome.
Moving on to Christian Benford now. His 63-yard pick six was Buffalo's longest since Dante Whitner had a 76-yarder versus Tampa Bay in 2009 on Byron Leftwich.
I'm pretty sure that's not actually his legal name. So
Dante
if you
Hittner?
Refer to him by Dante Hittner in the future, that'd be preferred.
My apologies.
I've like
Mr.
blocked
Hittner.
out his Bills tenure just because he was such a jerk after he left.
Yeah, so you guys were talking about the win probability increasing. So Buffalo's win probability increased by 60.8 percentage points on that Benford pick six, which is the biggest single play swing outside of the last 2 minutes of a game in the next gen stats era, which goes back to 2016.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe it.
Crazy.
Very improbable.
Yes.
Yeah. My favorite kind.
Yeah.
That is also Buffalo's first defensive go-ahead score in a comeback win since 2008 with Jabari Greer's 33-yard pick six against St. Louis.
I remember that one. Actually, that's crazy.
And then if you filter that to being at home, the first non-offensive go-ahead score in a comeback win at home, first time since James Williams' 38-yard blocked punt return for a touchdown in 1990 against the Raiders.
I don't remember that one.
Wild.
The Bills now have 2 comeback wins after trailing by 10 or more points for just the third time in franchise history in a single season. 1967 and 1990 were the other 2 years that the Bills have done that.
Aaron, what kind of season did you say it was finally going to happen in?
The one that nobody thinks it's coming.
Huh. It's interesting.
And last one I've got for you, this one's from Uber Hansen on Twitter. Of the NFL's big 4 quarterbacks, if you want to call them that, Allen, Burrow, Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson, none of those quarterbacks have beaten the other 3 in a single regular season until now, with Josh Allen defeating all 3 of them this year.
That's a cool one.
I don't like that one. I don't like that one. It's not a thing. They don't go head to head. This isn't like a pitching duel in baseball. Anyway,
I think it's a great one, Colin.
Just enjoy it, Aaron. I know you're right. Just enjoy it.
All right.
Also, there's multiple of those where if you include the playoffs, Mahomes probably did at some point between them. So I won't celebrate it too much.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic job, everybody. It's one of our longest shows in forever. We went over 100 minutes.
Yeah, my wife is not going to love that.
Pretty rare. Apologies for that. Appreciate you guys. The chat here was awesome. Give us a like, give us a rating, give us a review. Come in later. Just tell us "Go Bills" in the comments. We appreciate you guys very, very much.
Real quick before we get out here, while Southern Tier's still up, next week, Saturday, 4 p.m. Greg and I, Colin, he'll be there too. Maybe some special guests. We'll be down at Southern Tier doing a live show and a meet and greet, getting ready for that Patriots matchup. Big time Patriots matchup here coming this week. So we'll put that out on all the socials and stuff. I wanted to get that out there. We've been teasing the live show here on the show coming up, but it is going to be, mark your calendars, next Saturday. So that's December 13th, I believe. Yes.
Saturday, December 13th, 4 p.m. We're going to be there. Then we'll be hanging out. I think there's a Bandits game going on. There's
some happy hour specials they're going to be throwing for people coming down to hang with us. So come talk some Bills with us.
I can't wait. I can't wait to check it out, be able to go and have ourselves a good time and enjoy some time with all you guys. But on behalf of fantastic producer Colin Ritchie and my lovely co-host Aaron Quinn, I am Greg Tompsett. You've been listening to Cover One Buffalo, and we